What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including why Roman Reigns might be out of the WWE for some time, why Chris Jericho forced AEW to reshoot his segment with Matt Hardy, Mandy Rose's grand goal, the moment when Brodie Lee knew his career was over in the WWE, Rusev's new look, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story as we look at why Roman Reigns is done with the WWE for the duration. Now, as many wrestling fans know by now, Roman Reigns has pulled out of his Universal Championship shot against Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania, citing concerns about his health. With Reigns suffering from a compromised immune system, he needs to be particularly prudent due to the current outbreak. While the big dog is out from his Mania match, when will he be back? If Dave Meltzer is correct, it might not be for some time. Speaking on the Wrestling Observer Radio, Diamond Dave observed, "Another thing that was brought up to me yesterday by someone is, you realize that, perhaps for both of these guys, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, but certainly for Roman Reigns, that he probably, and I'm sure this is going to happen, but realistically, he probably shouldn't be doing this for a long time. This is not about WrestleMania, this is about long after WrestleMania. Until this thing is way under control, and I'm not talking about it being in control enough where we're out going to restaurants again, but way under control or there's a vaccine, and hopefully that's soon." As Meltzer noted, Roman isn't the only WWE superstar with autoimmune issues, as Daniel Bryan has to be extra careful as well. They may find itself scrambling to reposition new babyfaces into the main event, but thankfully the promotion has a large roster it can draw upon if it decides to. Next up, why Chris Jericho had AEW reshoot his Hardy segment. The confrontation between broken Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho had fans and wrestlers alike talking, with some loving it for being outside the box and others dismissing it as pure wrestle crap. Apparently, the finished product was far different than what was originally taped. According to Dave Meltzer, Le Champion was unhappy with the first take, saying they had taped on Tuesday and they had taped that segment on Tuesday. Jericho hated it. He absolutely hated it. They were going to go retape it on Wednesday. They didn't want to do it live. You can't do it live. They were going to do it live and outdoors, and then they realized that it was light out and you couldn't tape it in the afternoon and put it in the show. The video went viral on YouTube and, as of this writing, has 1.4 million views on AEW's channel. Next up, The Rock recalls Hulk Hogan passing him the torch. Fans still recall the epic moment at WrestleMania 3 when Hulk Hogan defeated Andre the Giant with the 8th wonder of the world passing the torch to the Hulkster. A similar thing happened at WrestleMania 18 when Hollywood Hulk Hogan put over The Rock. During a recent edition of his stay-at-home stream, The Rock shared his experience when Hogan passed him the torch.
When we got to the back, I gave him the hardest, biggest hug I could. I thanked him for passing the torch to me, and he said, "You deserve it, brother. Carry it well," or he said something like that. And he's like I did when Andre passed me the torch. And everybody came up in the back and gave us all hugs and said that was incredible.
While Hulk Hogan has been criticized by some wrestlers for not putting them over, no main eventer who understands the business is gonna count the lights for every opponent who comes along, or they risk losing their spot as a main eventer, and any rub they give is going to lose its value. In the case of passing the torch, Hulk Hogan couldn't have picked a better person in The Rock. Next up, Cody Rhodes teases a big announcement. AEW Vice President Cody Rhodes has an announcement for AEW fans, but what could it be? Cody tweeted, "Got to work with my guy Tony Schiavone today in the booth for some more AEW Dark. Also, pretty cool announcement coming to you guys tomorrow on Road to..." Hint, it's not the video game, but it may be the other thing fans have been clamoring for. The wrestling world is full of big announcements, but sadly they rarely deliver. Hopefully Cody won't burn the fans' goodwill with this one. Could this be unveiling of the new championship AEW has talked about in the past? What do you guys think it could be? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Mandy Rose has high hopes. Mandy Rose has been competing on the main roster since November 2017, but she has grand goals for herself. During a recent appearance on Corey Graves' After the Bell podcast, one half of Fire and Desire talks about her short and long-term goals. "I think the sky's the limit. I think I have a lot more to accomplish, and I've only been in WWE for a couple of years, but obviously becoming SmackDown Women's Champion is a goal of mine in the near future, I hope. Besides that, just building my brand as well as outside of WWE using this platform that we're on, it's such an amazing platform. Rose seems to have a keen insight into the synergy a superstar can achieve through their WWE career and outside endeavors such as a fashion line, fitness program, or something else. Do you think Mandy Rose has what it takes to be world champion? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the moment Brodie Lee knew his WWE career was over. Former Wyatt family member Luke Harper is now enjoying his time in All Elite Wrestling as Brodie Lee, and recently he talked with Chris Jericho about when he knew his WWE career was done. Appearing on Talk is Jericho, he discussed,
"Did the angle with Randy, he turned, I got over, I got all the way to a championship match battle royal with, I think me and AJ were last two. We did the spot where we were supposed to go to the floor, hit it at the same time to do a match the next week. In rehearsal, hit it no problem, absolutely beautiful. Of course, in the actual execution of it, I f***ed it up a little bit. My ass slipped on the apron and I either touched first or he did, but it was pretty obvious that one of us touched first."
As many former WWE superstars have attested, sometimes all it takes is one mistake for a person's career to go downhill, with some careers never recovering. Brodie told Jericho about what happened next.
They shot around it and they explained, no, they touched at the same time. And then the next week, AJ, who was the heel, ended up making me tap and pinning me in the same match. They restarted the match, and I was like, yep, this is the end.
According to Lee, he was off WWE television for the next 8 months, a sure sign of where he ranked in Vince McMahon's eyes. Although Harper later got a push alongside Rowan as the Bludgeon Brothers, things deteriorated after Harper was injured and he asked for his release, eventually getting it. Next up, Booker T talks Brodie Lee and Matt Hardy in AEW. Booker T discussed Lee and Hardy's debuts in wrestling during his Hall of Fame podcast, talking about how neither man wasted any time making an impact in their new home. Booker said he thinks both men are a good fit for AEW and explained why. Matt Hardy is not a young guy, he's in the twilight years of his career. To finish it the way you want to finish it, and it don't hurt to get some good paper for it as well and the time off, I don't think Matt Hardy could have been one of those part-timers and made the salary he wanted or make the impact he wanted to make. I say it definitely was the right thing for Matt Hardy to do. Looking at Hardy's debut and subsequent confrontation with Chris Jericho, it's clear he's got the creative freedom he never would have had in the WWE. As long as Matt's creativity delivers ratings and buy rates, it's a good thing and an affirmation of why wrestlers should be involved in wrestling storylines. Booker T also discussed why Matt Hardy and Lee are needed in AEW. You're gonna need guys like Matt Hardy, you're gonna need guys like Brodie Lee to build that company. I'm taking nothing away from the young guys that AEW has, but a lot of these guys are really good workers, but are they stars? Booker's comments on needing stars is a reoccurring theme in his analysis of the industry. He recently noted how the WWE's women's division needs more stars than just great workers. We can't help but agree with Booker that star power is important in drawing in viewers. Rare is the situation where a sizable number of fans will gravitate to a promotion that lacks star power. That's been one of NXT's biggest problems, as fans just aren't invested in the show's wrestlers the way they are with Raw and SmackDown. As Vince McMahon has occasionally remarked, perception is reality, and if fans see a show with no stars, 9 times out of 10 they'll turn the channel. Next up, how much will WrestleMania cost on pay-per-view and how long will each night run? Although many fans watch WrestleMania via the network, there are still people who order it on pay-per-view, paying a fairly hefty sum to watch the show. With the showcase of the Immortals too big for one night, there has been some confusion about how much it will cost on pay-per-view. Dave Meltzer is reporting on how much the show will cost depending on who your pay-per-view provider is. He noted, "A lot of cable companies are getting their acts together on the WrestleMania pricing after having no idea how to handle it. Verizon has changed it to $29.99 per night. DirecTV is listing it as $34.95 per night sold separately. Comcast has changed it to $34.95 per night as well. Do you think fans will shell out that money for this year's show considering it's airing in an empty arena? But that's its pricing. But what about how long it'll run? Well, according to Fightful.com, each night is supposed to go on for 3 hours and 15 minutes each. And finally, Rusev's new look. Last but not least, Rusev is one of those superstars who loves to change up his look, and on one occasion it got him heat from the WWE because they just had an action figure made with his old look. With people all but quarantined in their homes, it's nearly impossible to get a haircut, so wrestling's Bulgarian brute decided to go for a new look, showing off his chrome dome on WWE's Instagram feed. What do you guys think of Rusev's new look? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.